I'm from the hood, so where I come from, it's a whole nother element. Where I come from, different from the Hollywood scene, which is why I stay in the background of the scenes, because it's too many Fruit Loops in the Hollywood scene, so I stay in the background. When it comes to, taking you someplace and making you do something and sugarcoating you, I say no to.
Houston Edward Summers IV, born October 26, 1983. Today's feature is more about the story of the music industry than about former hit-making R&B singer Houston, because not much is known about him outside his self-imposed fall-off, starting with him gouging his own eye out, allegedly to free himself from his battle with the devil. We hear stories time and again of things that go on in the music industry behind the scenes, but none had an effect on the entertainer like in Houston's case. The fundamental issues with the entertainment industry in general is that everyone, it seems, wants to be a part of it. From sports to music, acting, and being anywhere in front of a large audience or cameras. Humans in general have shown to be wired for trying to accumulate as much clout as they can in all walks of life. But with so much competition in saturated industries like music, you wouldn't believe what some will have to do in order to stand out or keep the attention going. Because of this, artists on the come up or fresh into becoming the star they've always wanted to be are like prey to the gatekeepers that run the entertainment industry, prepositioned time and time again with opportunities to gain or keep their fame. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, so to speak. I have something you desperately want. You have something less greater or unseen at the time that I can use for the time being, so I hold all the cards and have you at my mercy to do whatever it is I want until the trade is made. But what Houston is alleging he was asked for and prepositioned to do were against all his beliefs and threatened the one thing he held as most coveted, his manhood. Back in 2005, the music industry, as far as hip-hop and R&B, was on fire. Artists were constantly going multi-platinum, and new artists were breaking through every 6 months. Houston scored his breakthrough with the song I Like That, featuring Chingy and Nate Dogg. The song released in March of 2004 and peaked on Billboard at number 3. This set his album up to go gold and had him on tour across the world with millions of fans screaming his name. But then things got dark. Things I believe Houston had seen or been through that caused him to make such a drastic exit. It stunted his growth and his career was never the same. Here's why. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Houston Summers is an R&B singer from Los Angeles, California that has always had the talent for music and would display that initially during his school musical activities. He acquired a manager and they began taping his school performances and sending them to record labels in hopes Houston's talent was recognized. It was, and he was quickly signed to Capitol Records on a one-album deal in which all his masters were owned by the label and he only saw real money from his shows. Stunt number 1, The Eye into the Soul.
Everything was clobbering down on me. Everything was going a little bit too hard on me. I was blowing up. I went gold with that single with Nate Dogg and Chingy.
Many stories floated around about what happened to Houston and explanations as to why he did what he did. So many stories that it may be impossible to take his word for what happened and believe it to be true. With the success of his hit single, I Like That, Houston was everywhere, from music shows on TV, performing at award shows, and of course on tour, where the majority of his fans would be and could witness him live. One of those places he showed up to showcase his skills was London. Having a hit song on your hands brings a lot more than just fanfare. It also brought many, in my opinion, wanting to capitalize off the R&B singer's success and behind the scenes prepositions from music execs looking to see if Houston would break to their advances. During a routine check on Houston's well-being, his bodyguard opened the door to his hotel room and saw large amounts of blood trailing across the floor and Houston lying on the bed with a hotel towel covering his left eye. When the bodyguard removed the towel, he saw that Houston's eye was hanging out, but the singer not seeming to be in any pain. Houston's first words were the devil made him do it, and that in order to get him off his back, he had to do something drastic. This was the only way. But in my opinion, I believe it had gotten much deeper. I believe something very hard to deal with had happened to Houston within the industry, like maybe he was being asked to do something sexual that challenged his manhood but pushed him further up the ladder. Just maybe he accepted, then after the act he just couldn't live with it and hurting himself seemed like the only option to make it stop. Because who's the devil in this situation? If moved to commit such a drastic act, who would he have been trying to escape? The music industry, of course, often described in devilish terms, and the only thing in his life at that point that could control him mentally and make him take such an act on himself. Stunt number 2, drugs. Another avenue worth exploring is what some have said the real reason was, which was at the time he was drunk and high off PCP. This could be true because a drug like that could explain why he never seemed in pain, and because of the hallucinogens it carries, can blur your reality so much to the point you just may believe you're seeing monsters or demons encouraging you to do bad things that could hurt you or anyone around you without affecting the pain receptors in the body. It was also reported that earlier that night, he had tried to commit suicide by jumping from his 13-story hotel room and had to be moved to a lower floor and locked in the room for his own safety. In a statement released explaining what happened to the singer, whose single was being used as a McDonald's jingle at the time, and why he would do such a thing, claimed that he was depressed and exhausted because of his newfound success. With the power of hindsight we have, this could all be true and would best explain his actions and desire to no longer be on this earth. Also could explain why since he left or fell off in the music industry, we haven't heard repeat incidences where he tried to hurt himself or take his own life. Entertainers of the status he reached, I'm sure, are offered many things in the form of drugs, and most take whatever and smoke whatever and never know the effect it'll have on them or even what they'll do next. Houston himself released a statement saying, "I still love all my fans, please pray for me, and know I'll be back with some more hits." Not sure if he had any idea, but that would be the last his fans would care or want to see him, and not only stunted his growth, but killed his career altogether.
Basically, the record's clear, you know what I mean? I got an eye injury, you know what I'm saying, dealing with certain thugs, dealing with certain gangsters, dealing with certain mafia. I had to get out that industry.
Stunt number 3 wasn't built for it. As you can imagine, the entire industry, down to its consumers, were shocked to hear the news of what happened to Houston. Even Bushwick Bill, who once attempted suicide by forcing his girlfriend at the time to shoot him in the face and end his existence, wrote words of encouragement to the singer, encouraging him to stay strong and that he was in his prayers. Another excuse Houston gave for the London self-attempt on his life was that everything was clobbering down and everything was going a little bit too hard on him and he lost it. With Houston's Christian background, maybe that was true, but still doesn't fully explain why take such harmful measures as relief. If everything was too hard, wouldn't it have been easier to just leave? I don't think we'll ever understand what really happened, but one thing's for sure is that situations he found himself in the industry, he wasn't built to handle. Since the incident, we haven't heard much musically from the singer. All in all, Houston's case has to be one of the most drastic incidences of an entertainer not being able to cope with stardom. He since moved back to LA and attempted a comeback, but as you may guess, was unsuccessful. Salute to Houston, hope he's doing well today, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.
They put that Michael Jackson jacket on me, made me wear that jacket, and so I had to rip myself away before motherfuckers get the wrong impression about